Am I the arsehole? For ruining a friend's surprise twin pregnancy reveal by giving heads up to my husband. I am married to wonderful husband. We have been married for 6.5 years and we don't have any kids. Currently we are in a friend group with 3 other couples. I'm not going to name them, so let's say couple A, B and C. Couple A have 2 sons, couple B and C are currently pregnant. Wife of couple A always thinks that when we visit them we should take care of their children as they need time to relax. And always hands her second kids to me and first kid to my husband. Couple B was always asking if we were okay after they reveal their pregnancy. They made us feel comfortable and they never talk about pregnancy. When they ask me to be the keeper for their baby gender and help them with the gender reveal party, I was happy to help them. When couple C fell pregnant, they were showing that they were pregnant from the day one. They shared their pregnancy news when they were 6-week pregnant. Now they are 14 weeks pregnant. They want to do their gender reveal at the end of October and want me to do their gender reveal. And when they shared they are having twins yesterday and wants me keep it a secret till gender reveal. It hit hard, made me emotional, and told my husband on the way home that they were having twins and I don't want him to get startled at gender reveal day. Let me explain why he might get startled at the party. We suffered many miscarriages throughout our 6.5 years of marriage. First one was on 2017 at 19 weeks, second on 2020 with twins at 8 weeks and 14 weeks, and third one on March of this year at 9 weeks. Last miscarriage happens day before the couple A's second son was born. We were quite devastated on losing our baby on March. We informed all our friends through text that we were miscarrying and we need some time to heal. Around that time couple B also fell pregnant and they were considerate about our feelings, so they didn't reveal their pregnancy and told us at the end of July. It was hard for us but we were happy for them. Couple A and C have never considered our feeling, only think about theirs. We went to visit couple A's baby when it was 11 days old and she handed me her baby and disappeared for 1.5 hours. It was hard but I held him and cared for him. After coming home I cried holding my husband. She never asks us how we are feeling or we are okay. When she tells us to look after them we do that and never say anything to them. It is hard for us to took care of them cause we haven't healed through our losses. We don't say a thing and just look after their kids. Couple C is having worst pregnancy symptoms and always says that I am having hard time with this. I don't want you to have this types of symptoms when you get pregnant. She knows all my history. Today I told couple C that I have told my husband that you guys were having twins and I need to consider his feeling. They were accusing me of ruining their surprise and I didn't consider their feeling. Am I the asshole for telling my husband? First, I'm so sorry for your losses. My heart goes out to you and your husband. Not the asshole, and I'm not even sure why you're friends with A and C. They've shown a callous disregard for your feelings. Go low contact for a while and enjoy time with B. Info that doesn't change my judgment. Why do you just accept being handed a kid if it's causing you distress? A simple backing up and no thank you should suffice. Not the asshole. I think your husband needed to have this information. It's not like he shared it with anyone else. I am so sorry. Not the asshole. Couple A sounds insufferable and couple C sounds selfish. Tell couple C that they should know by now that there are no secrets between you and your husband, and if they didn't want you to tell him they should have been explicit. Because you wouldn't have agreed to host their gender reveal. Not the asshole. Telling just your spouse is not ruining the surprise for anyone but your spouse, and they should know why this wouldn't necessarily be a happy surprise for him. I honestly think it's a little callous for either B or C to ask you to be involved in their gender reveals given your experiences, and a little flexibility on their part to ensure you and your husband are in the right headspace is not too much to ask. Not the asshole. Given the history, if they can't understand how hard it is for you and your husband to keep putting on the happy face and taking responsibility for their parties, and that you might lean on each other for support, then they shouldn't have asked you for your help or told you anything. It's just cruel to rub this in your face. You were fine to tell your husband. I wouldn't have told them that though, but hindsight has 20/20 vision. What is done is done. You keep mentioning that you're never telling anyone how you feel about anything that's done to you, like that's a point to you. There's no virtue in eating shit by. Why are you not telling anyone when they are hurting you? They sound ignorant AF, but they're not mind readers. Speak up. Not the asshole. Up needs to learn to set boundaries and not take people's babies or plan their parties if they don't want to. Info: if you have been having pregnancy woes, why are you still agreeing to do things like help with gender reveals? Have you said to any of your friends that you are hurting and need space? Or refused to take their baby when they shove them into your arms? Not the asshole, but I don't know why you told them anything. They're not being considerate of you. Taking care of your husbands and your feelings are important around couple C, because they will clearly never look out for yours. Also, stop letting them walk all over you. You don't have to take care of someone else's kids. It takes a village, is not a contract. Couple C sound like terrible friends. Maybe focus on couple B and try to find some other friends. Not the asshole. Couples A and C are not your friends. We had 2 failed IVFs and it still hurts when my husband and I hang out with our friends who have babies. We haven't told anyone at all about our IVF journey, so we tend to arrange meeting up with our friends at bars or in the evening when we do not have to be around kids all the time. We still show up at events where babies and kids are present, but there are just some days where we don't want to be around them. Maybe try arranging meetups at adult-only venues? Nah, but you need to tell them this is bothering you and why. They think you are fine with it and possibly think you enjoy watching their children because you don't tell them and keep doing it. Not the asshole. Next time tell them no is a complete sentence. Not the asshole. As long as your husband doesn't obnoxiously announce the gender before the gender is announced, you're absolutely fine to prepare him for something that may hit him hard. I don't understand, what did couple C do wrong? Shouldn't they reveal their pregnancy? BCZ, you can't get pregnant. I agree with others that couple A are the R. 1000. Not the asshole. You were protecting you and your hubby. I've been in your shoes. It's the most uncomfortable position, being happy for those around you when you are both dying inside. Couple AC sound dreadful and do not care about you. Couple B sound like amazing friends, keep them close. You need new friends. Not the asshole. Stop being forced to be friends with couple A and C, cut them out. Stay friends with couple B and make new friends. A and C are not your friends. Also, no one can force you to hold a baby. She comes to hand you the baby, you say no thank you, I'm not feeling well, I'm not comfortable, it's a bit difficult. It's not acceptable that she disappears. And as for hosting gender reveals, say I'm sorry, please ask another friend. I am so sorry for your losses. Not the asshole. My heart goes out to you. These people are insufferable. Not the asshole. At all. From now on, when A tries to hand you the baby, put your hands up and say, no thanks, I've already eaten. Frankly, let C know you're still struggling. If she remains clueless and insensitive, go low contact. I'm so sorry for your losses. Not the asshole. You were caring for your partner by telling him. I'm not sure I would continue a close friendship with couples A and C though. They aren't being very good friends to you. These people don't sound like your friends, and your husband need to start advocating for your needs too. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Don't plan any baby showers. Let the others do it. You have enough going on. Girl, those people aren't friends. They are energy leeches and buttholes. Not the asshole. Ruining it for who? Your husband? Who is this great reveal for? Your friends are inconsiderate and I'm not sure why you still hang out with them. Not the asshole. Couple A and couple C are not really your friends. Keep couple B, ditch the rest. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. But you're kind of being an arty yourself but accepting the toxicity of couples A and C. Am I the asshole? For asking my coworker what would happen if I drank her breast milk? My 20th coworker Kate had a baby a little while ago, and in the break room during lunch yesterday she was talking about breastfeeding. During the conversation I asked Kate, "Hey, so what would happen if I were to drink your breast milk?" Kate said, "Excuse me?" I did realize that it sounded like a weird question when you didn't hear the train of thought leading up to it, so I tried to explain myself and said, "I mean, is it okay because your baby is related to you, but I'd get sick because I don't have your same bacteria?" Kate didn't answer me, but our other coworker Lauren then said, "Well, it can't be that that's how it works because then wet nurses wouldn't have been a thing." I've never heard of a wet nurse and asked Lauren, "What's that?" Lauren said, "It's when you hire a nanny who had a baby at the same time as you so that she can also breastfeed your baby for you, but it's like an old-timey thing." So at this point Kate said, "You guys are being DCKS," and left. I found out today that she's telling people that me and Lauren were making fun of her about breastfeeding. So I do understand why Kate would have been uncomfortable with the first way I asked the question because yes, that was kind of a stupid way to say it, but I don't really understand how she thinks I was making fun of her at all after that. Am I the asshole? You should probably apologize to Kate. Tell her you realize it was inappropriate to ask and you're not making fun of her at all. And use Google next time. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. That is such a weird and intrusive question. If you were so curious, maybe you could have Googled something along the lines of person not related to mother-child drinking breast milk rather than insert yourself and coworker into a really creepy hypothetical scenario. You need a filter. Soft, you're the asshole. You didn't make fun of her and neither did Lauren. But your question was definitely inappropriate. She's talking about her baby sucking on her boob to get food and you were just like, what if I sucked on your boob, in different words. I guess that's not what you were trying to ask. I understand you were asking whether it's healthy, safe to drink breast milk produced by someone not related to you. But the way you phrased your question was rude. Also, dude, the milk we buy from the store, used to make cheese and yogurt and ice cream, comes from a completely different animal. Of course human milk is safe for humans to drink. You're the asshole. I think if you don't recognize how invasive that question is, you may need to talk to a therapist, social worker who specializes in helping people who have deficits in social skills or understanding social norms. If you do understand how invasive the question is in retrospect, might need to do some work on how to keep from blurting weird thoughts before they go through the filter and or how to apologize well if they do come out. I am guessing her issue wasn't mockery, that was just the politest way she knows to say. Made me really uncomfortable. I audibly said ew at your question. You're the asshole. Those are intrusive questions. Next time Google it. We have the technology, use it. Look, some thoughts just don't need to be shared with others. You asked a gross and weird question, and I'm not entirely sure why you even thought she'd want to answer or necessarily know the answer. You seemed to be trying to creep her out on purpose, which she took as making fun of her. You're the asshole. Next time just ask Google your weird questions. You're the asshole for how your question was phrased. You made it sound like a personal inquiry rather than an objective question. That was creepy sounding, even if you didn't mean it that way. NTA for the subsequent conversation about wet nurses, which was informational, which in no way could be construed as making fun of Kate. Nah. Yeah, it was weird, but it was a question born out of genuine curiosity if badly phrased. Your coworker is rightfully a bit grossed out. Maybe apologize, say there was no malice as it was a genuine question, just very poorly phrased. You're the asshole. You were making creepy comments about someone who is breastfeeding, and you're damn lucky you haven't been called into HR over it. You're the asshole. In a corporate setting it is better to avoid such personal interpreted questions, even out of curiosity, as you don't know the people well enough how they would react and it could get you in trouble with HR. In a private setting with friends or family this would be an alright question. Also, as it is just a general question about breast milk and not a personal one, it is better to do a quick internet search. Yeah, so whatever your motive, that's obviously going to make someone uncomfortable. Not every thought process should be shared. You're the asshole. Not the asshole as a woman who has nursed 3 kids for more than 3 years each. I would have thought that was an interesting question. You didn't ask if you could suck her boobs and it was a hypothetical question. To answer your question, no, it would not make you sick or anything. I personally have tasted my own milk, as has my husband. I don't like it, it's very sweet. He kind of likes it. You're the arsehole on so many creepy levels, I shiver just reading the title. To answer your initial question, which, yes, as established, was wildly inappropriate for the setting in which you asked it, you could, hypothetically, get sick, but it's uncommon. Breast milk is made from the parent's blood supply, so blood-borne illnesses are communicable through breast milk. Otherwise, if the parent is fighting off an illness at the time, you'd actually get a supply of their antibodies from the milk, so it could conceivably make you healthier. That's one of the reasons it's so strongly encouraged to breastfeed babies for as much of their infancy as possible. After it cleared up? Absolutely not. You did make that seem creepy, if anything. That's a mega WTF moment. Aside from that, no. It seems like you were genuinely interested in if there were any cons or pros to it. And another coworker answered your question. I personally don't understand how she took it as you making fun of her. Yes, you're the asshole. That question sounds like you were thinking about sucking her tits, even if it wasn't what you said. It's never appropriate to discuss ingesting your coworker's bodily fluids. You're the asshole. That question was gross, especially when directed to someone who's currently breastfeeding an infant. How did you think that was going to go? Not the asshole. I don't see the issue at all, but I'm autistic and work in a clinical setting, so maybe I'm just desensitized. I'm definitely in the minority here, but you didn't ask her, can I drink your milk? That would be creepy. You just asked questions. Don't see how that's making fun of her at all or creepy. I interpreted drink your breast milk as drinking pumped breast milk out of a glass. Yeah, it's kind of a weird question. And the way everyone else is interpreting it, definitely inappropriate. The way I interpreted it, it didn't seem that bad, like they were just curious, and they certainly weren't putting down their coworker. Not putting in a judgment since I saw it so differently from what seems to be everybody else, lol. Not the asshole. I'd quite. This would be a weird question. It shouldn't be a private or unnatural topic anyway. You were wondering whether humans would get sick from drinking another's milk. I'd probably just laugh and tell you to educate yourself. Nata. Yes, it's a weird question, but I don't see why she thought you were making fun of her. And bodybuilders drink breast milk all the time. Not all of them, but some definitely do. You can make up to $10 an ounce for that liquid gold. It's healthier than drinking cow's milk. Not the asshole. The original phrasing was creepy, but your explanation of what you were really trying to ask seems reasonable. She probably thought you were making fun of her because in her mind the question was too dumb to be earnest. I would apologize to her and say that you weren't trying to make a joke, just accidentally asked a dumb question due to not knowing anything about breastfeeding. Not the asshole. You could have stated the question a lot better, and perhaps you should explain that to the mother. Try to have a friendly talk with her, apologize for the way you made her feel, and tell her your genuine curiosity was awkwardly worded. Also, looking at all the reactions here, perhaps you should have a witness present. Not the asshole, but only because you sound super naive. You asked what would happen if you drank her milk. Which is creepy AF, dude. Especially when you remember that it's an actual fetish, not mine, but I don't kink shame. What I think you meant to ask was what would happen if someone other than the baby consumed breast milk. Is it like blood where the wrong match can be fatal? The answer is no, it's not wet nursing. You owe Kate a huge apology. Am I the asshole? For not giving my husband food if it was made with a blender that he was mad about me buying. I bought myself a nice blender. I work part-time at home and also watch the young kids that are too young for preschool. Due to me staying home I cook a lot, which I enjoy, so it's not a big. Now the issue is that he was pissed how much the blender was $125. This annoyed me greatly since I used my fun money for it and it is a household tool even if he won't use it. I thought we were over it, but I pulled it out again to make a smoothie and he made more comments about a waste of money and stupid buy. I had the conversation with him about the whole situation again. He made more comments next time I took it out and I had enough. Now every time I make something using a blender I don't give him any. It came to a head today. I made a soup and I used the blender. I told him I used the stupid blender to make it so he can't have any and make his own food. This caused a huge argument and he thinks I am a petty jerk, but I have told him so many times to not call my purchases a waste. Am I the asshole? For taking it so far. This post made me start really thinking about my marriage. I am asking for couples counseling and if things don't change I will be done. Not the asshole. $125 is not a lot for a blender. Especially if you're actually using it and bought it with your fun money. I'm not well off and I bought my blender on sale for $300. Not the asshole. Op has kindly and respectfully communicated that husband's comments are hurtful and should not be made anymore. Op has done this multiple times. Further, OP was very clear that this item was purchased from Op's fun money. As a couple they have clearly already established that what one of them purchases with their allotted discretionary fund is up to them. How many times does OP have to explain to this man that he's being hurtful? Why should he benefit from a tool he continues to use, a means to belittle his partner? Info: is he still making comments about the blender every time you use it, or did he stop that when you started saying he couldn't have anything you'd made with it? Because I can't tell if he's literally still moaning about the blender every time you get it out, or if he's stopped moaning but you're still carrying on the issue. Not the asshole. This isn't about the blender. It's about the fact that you bought something for yourself, without his consent or even taking his opinion about it. Whatever you do for yourself is a waste, but whatever he does, it's an investment. His mind, your money is the house's money and his money are his alone. Not the asshole. If he is going to be in a hole about the blender, then he doesn't have to reap any of the rewards of said blender. You have saved him from that blasted, stupid blender. He should be thanking you, lol. Not the asshole. If he can't stop making petty jabs every time he even looks at it, he doesn't deserve to reap the benefits it provides. I can't stand when ASO harps on and on about little things like this. You used your own money to buy it and he still won't shut up about it. Good luck, Op, you're gonna need it. Not the asshole. Since when are your fun money purchases up for criticism? Being petty isn't the way, I think, but he does need to stop. You can make soups and smoothies in a cheap blender that would be exactly the same to him, so you aren't proving anything. This is why you have your own money. Keep reminding him it didn't come out of the joint fund. Ignore his comments about the blender. It was expensive but you love it, so who cares if he calls it a waste. If the subject dies, don't bring it up again, because I can understand the ESH judgments here but still think you had the right to be petty for a short time. Not the asshole. The nicest response I'd give to his comments would be, that's whining. He can work towards a promotion with higher pay if $125 out of his wife's fun budget spent on a useful kitchen appliance is so offensive. Not the asshole. As someone who likes cooking, $125 is not too bad for a blender, and dealing with a cheap blender makes something as simple as a smoothie take 2x longer sometimes. Not the asshole. He says it was a waste of money so he shouldn't eat food prepared with it, simple as that. Not the asshole. People often don't see value in items they don't use themselves. He clearly doesn't cook, it wasn't household money, he doesn't get to overshare his negative opinion. Not the asshole. Maybe I'm showing privilege here, but 125 seems on the cheaper end for a blender. I have this problem I continually talked about with my husband, and my husband did behave like a jerk and still very much behaves like a jerk continuously. Now I stopped doing something for him that wasn't entirely mature to begin with and hope he stops. Reddit. What? You dare to react? You need to let it go, you need to do more for him, so he sees how great you are. You are petty for not letting him be in a hole to you until he decides to stop. Lol. Are you alright? Seems petty but not to the level of arseholery, since he's being so annoying over something you spent your fun money on. If anything, he should be grateful you spent only your own money on something that is actually for all of you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Didn't know my ex had remarried. Nata. Do you actually used fun money for something functional instead of wasting it? Good for you, you can make a sound stuff going forward and permanently if he's gonna be a jerk. Not the asshole, he does not respect your interests or wants. Not the asshole. If he thinks 125.00 is expensive for a blender, then he should probably not look at Vitamix or Blendtech's prices. He doesn't get the rewards of the stupid blender. I believe that when it comes to this point in a marriage over a $125 expense, that this is a symptom instead of a cause. Have a sit down and demand to get to the bottom of this until you get this resolved. He's bitching over $125. That's a fairly inexpensive blender. Probably a nice Ninja. If you were gonna get yelled at anyways, you should have gone all in for a Vitamix. Not the asshole, but your hubby is. Not the asshole. He makes comments every time he sees the blender. Dude can make his own soup. Not the asshole. Petty? Maybe, but who doesn't love being petty when people are just being a downright lol. Not the asshole. Don't ever let him eat or drink a damn thing made in that blender. Not the asshole. If it's such a useless purchase, then he doesn't need to benefit from you using it. He can make his own soup. Not the asshole. The price is irrelevant here. You bought it with your fun money and it benefits the entire household. I would ask him what he is hoping to accomplish by continuing to bring this up. Do you ever make comments about things he has purchased with his fun money? If not, I would remind him of that and ask that he grant you the same grace to enjoy some things in life that fun money can buy. Not the asshole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Not the asshole. You're using it, so what's the problem? If you'd bought it and it was just sitting gathering dust, then he could moan. I'm so sorry, your husband is the You are not the asshole. Not the asshole. His money wasn't used for it. What did he want you to do? Ask permission? Beg him to use your own money so he could crush your smoothie dreams and say no? Or be a benevolent husband and allow you to grant your own wish with your own money? He's on some sort of weird power trip over an appliance. Next time he buys a power tool for himself, give him the same shit back. Your marriage sounds mean and sad. Not the asshole. If you bought it with your fun money, then he has no business complaining about it that much. Not letting him eat out of it may be a little bit petty, but it's not unreasonable considering how much of a child he's being about the situation. Not the asshole. But this strikes me as not about the Iranian yogurt. Sit down with him and have a proper conversation. Not the asshole. That's the natural consequence to his actions. He should self-reflect. Let him starve. Not the asshole. 125 for a good blender isn't much. 2. It is your money. 3. What stupid expensive stuff is he buying from his fun money? 4. It is your money. 5. This behavior is a red flag for me. Seriously. Why do women marry Every single post on Reddit is about women having to navigate and deal with husbands that have the maturity of a 6-year-old. Pathetic. Am I the asshole? For refusing to babysit my nieces. When my sister May was 20, she got pregnant with her daughter Reese. My parents immediately rushed to coddle her and help her and her now husband Mike with everything. She continued college while my parents paid for everything she and her child would need. Mike worked with my dad as an intern at his company while also continuing going to college, and this continued even after she gave birth. My parents would watch her kid until she or Mike came home, and I always found that to be very unfair on my parents. Well, after college, May and Mike got married and had 2 more kids, twins 4F, and they have great lives. They both work late hours sometimes, so my mom or dad will watch the kids until either one comes home. I again think this is unfair and absolutely hate how they are using my parents as free babysitters. It's uncool in my opinion. Well, my parents decided to visit my aunt in another state and left Tuesday. I was happy about this because this will force my sister to grow up and learn that she can't use our parents the way she does. Well, that didn't happen because she asked me if I could watch the twins for an hour until Mike comes home while she takes Reese to the hospital after she hurt herself. I immediately told her no and told her to find someone else. She was disappointed and then spent a half an hour on the phone asking everyone she knew if they could watch the twins. Everyone said what I said and she nearly broke down crying when she looks at me. She began begging and telling me she'll even pay me for watching them just this once. I again told her no and that they are her kids and she needs to finally grow up and actually watch them. She said nothing and quickly got the kids out and in the car before driving off. An hour later I was called by my mom and she was telling me how disappointed she was in me and how family helps family. I said they do, but I refused to coddle May the way she and dad did, that May needs to grow up and watch her own kids. Mom said nothing before hanging up. So am I the asshole? For refusing to babysit? Edit: I have been seeing this question a lot, so I'll answer everyone here. My parents have never complained about watching the kids, they actually offer to watch them most times so my sister and her husband don't have to pay for daycare. My sister also has never asked me to watch them until now. Info. She asked me if I could watch the twins for an hour until Mike comes home. She was disappointed and then spent a half an hour on the phone. She said nothing and quickly got the kids out and in the car before driving off. Where the heck is this taking place? It reads like you all live together or something. Yeah, you're the asshole. Whether or not to watch the kids is your parents' decision, not yours. Whether you think it's fair or not isn't your business. There's also a world of difference between your sister asking you to watch her twins while she takes her older daughter to the hospital to get an injury looked at and her asking you to watch them while she goes somewhere fun. One of the kids was hurt and going to the hospital and you still refuse to help. Regardless of your thoughts on her relationship with your parents, you're the asshole. You're the asshole. And major fucking one, she needed help when her child was hurt and you wanted to be petty about okay, want to teach her a lesson? Do it, but another time. You are her sister, and you were apparently available, so why not help? Because you purposefully wanted to be a dick from what you described. It seems both your sister and her husband work to try and provide for their children, and they sometimes use the help of your parents to look after the children during certain inconveniences. There is no reason in the world to act the way you did. You're the asshole. Your saltiness towards your sister is completely undeserved. I don't know if you're jealous of her or what, but refusing to babysit for an hour so your sister can take her child to the hospital because you think they are her kids and she needs to grow up and finally watch them is a really bizarre take. There is nothing ungrown up about grandparents helping with childcare when both parents work. Your whole take on this situation is way uncool in my opinion. Info: is Reese okay? She asked me if I could watch the twins for an hour until Mike comes home while she takes Reese to the hospital after she hurt herself. I immediately told her no and told her to find someone else. You're the asshole and a damn jealous and spiteful one at that. Not sure there's much more to say, it's pretty disgusting behavior. You're the asshole. Her one child needed to go to the hospital and you wouldn't take the other so she could focus on the one who needed her? A crowded ER with 2 kids? Edit misread it. You're even a worse R. This isn't about coddling. It's about being a decent human being. You're the asshole. She asked you to watch them because it was an emergency. She was taking a child to the emergency room. How heartless that you watched her make calls for 30 minutes while you watched Reese suffer in pain. She asked me if I could watch the twins for an hour until Mike comes home while she takes Reese to the hospital after she hurt herself. I immediately told her no and told her to find someone else. Sister asked you to help because she is taking your niece to the hospital. You're the asshole. Good luck asking for help from them when you need it most. Yeah, you're the asshole. I read this to mean that your parents love seeing their grandkids and are thus happy to help, and you're just jealous of the situation. You wouldn't watch them even in an emergency where she needed to take her first into the hospital? An actual emergency? X200B. I hope this is rage bait, and if it is not, then they all strand your ass in an emergency. I think you chose the wrong moment to take a stance. Plus, it's your parents' choice to provide that much assistance, so while you see it as taking advantage, it's up to them to say no. You're the asshole. She had to take a kid to the ER. She wasn't asking you to fill in for free so she could have drinks with friends, for crying out loud. Your jealousy has turned you into a real R. Everyone keeps harping on about OP being unwilling to watch the twins, yet missing the line where she was disappointed and then spent a half an hour on the phone asking everyone she knew if they could watch the twins. Everyone said what I said. Either May's surrounded by monsters, or this is a troll. Info: where does everybody live? You're 28 yo and still live at your patent's house? And your sister and husband as well? Of course you're the asshole. You chose not to help for no other reason than to teach your sister some lesson. Your jealousy is showing hard. You're the asshole. If a complete stranger knocked on my door and said hi, sorry, oh my god, I have 3 small children and one of them is hurt, I need to bring her to the ER, can you help? I would help. I cannot imagine refusing a nominal acquaintance, never mind a family member. I hope this is made up, or at the very least you've lied about your age and are like 16 yourself. Jeez. You're the asshole. Her daughter hurt herself, it was an emergency situation and it wouldn't have killed you to babysit one time. And it's none of your business if your parents watch her kids. Most grandparents are happy to watch their grandchildren. If they have a problem with it, that's between them and your sister. You sound like a shitty, selfish sister and aunt. You're the asshole. At 28 years old you aren't grown up enough to realize that watching 2 4-year-old children for an hour so their mom can take an injured child to the hospital is a priority. Your parents have no issues helping her and that's their decision, not yours. Get off your high horse and fool yourself. God, you must be exhausting to deal with. You're the asshole. You should try working out your jealousy issues with a licensed professional instead of punishing your sister during a medical emergency. Where you become the asshole is where you allowed your anger and bitterness at your sister override your humanity. She wasn't asking you so she could take the older kid to the movies or to the mall or even necessary food shopping. It was a trip to the emergency room. Grow up and get some therapy. Hurt her? Absolutely they are. 1. This was a medical emergency. 2. It sounds more like you're jealous of the attention your sister is getting, or it's from the lack of time you solely get from your parents. You're absolutely pathetic. You just couldn't wait to turn her down because you thought mommy and daddy were paying more attention to her than you. And let's be honest here, you aren't concerned for them or you would have had a long talk with them about it. Christ, I'd be so ashamed of you. It was a fucking emergency. You're so beyond jealous you can even see straight. Grow the fuck up, op. You're not the hero in this situation saving your parents from your evil sister. Get some help and get over your delusions. Am I the asshole? For refusing to let my wife name our kids something stupid? Me and my wife are having our first child together. She is currently 9 months pregnant and could give birth any time in the next couple of weeks. The only major fight we have had throughout her pregnancy happened a couple days ago, and it was about what we were going to name our kid. It all started when we found out the gender of the baby. We didn't do a gender reveal and decided to find out the gender at one of her checkups because we didn't want to spend time making 2 lists of names then have to get rid of one after. So after we found out we were having a boy, we sat down together and made a list. Almost all of the names she suggested were normal, until the one that caused me to write this post. She suggested we name our son Mune. She told me the name was from this movie she watched when she was younger and that it always stuck with her. I told her the name was a little out there and he would get made fun of for it. She claimed he wouldn't, and we started going back and forth trying to decide whether to add the name to the list or not. Eventually she agreed to keep the name off the list. We picked some that we liked, and I thought that was that. Later on in her pregnancy, her mom decided to throw a baby shower as it was her first grandchild, and my wife's pregnancy was almost over and we hadn't celebrated once. It was fine for the most part until we started to open the gifts. Most of them were normal baby things like diapers and bottles, until we got to her mom's gift. My wife opened the gift bag and pulled out a blue handmade blanket. It seemed normal enough at first until my wife unfolded it, and lo and behold, there was the name Mune written on the blanket. When I saw it I was pissed but didn't want to cause a scene, so I stayed quiet. After that reveal I had family members come up to me and asked me about the name and why I hadn't told them. I didn't know what to tell them as I didn't have a clue about this either and just had to embarrassingly tell my family that, which pissed me off even more. Once the event ended and me and my wife went home, I started to question her about the name. She got defensive and told me that it was a good name and that I was overreacting about it. I brought up the earlier points and told her it was a stupid name for a kid, and if she wanted to name something Mune so bad she could use the name for a dog. She got upset and called her mom to come get her. After she left she called me and told me she wouldn't be coming back for a while. Everyone I've talked to about this has said I'm not the asshole, but now that my wife has been gone and I've been thinking about it, I feel like I could have handled the situation better. AITA? Not the asshole. Congrats and good luck with everything. I'm also about to give birth and we haven't picked a final name yet. If my husband went behind my back and told his family a name and didn't bother to mention it to me, I'd be livid. Not to mention she told them early enough that they either had time to personalize or hand make a personalized gift. Names should be 2 yeses. I'm not gonna comment on the name, but your wife is TA for making an important decision behind your back, keeping you out of the loop, and telling people that's not okay. Hopefully things can settle down and you guys can talk it out soon. Hope all goes well. Not the asshole because it's a 2-yes decision. That being said, has your wife done any research on this name? Mune means breasts in Japanese. Does she even like your kid? Not the asshole. Both parents have to agree to the name. It doesn't matter if it's boring, weird or ridiculous, both have to agree. Not the asshole. I think that your wife is being pretty ridiculous about the name. That's an awful name and you're right that the kid will be bullied for this. Your wife is incredibly wrong for deciding to name the child that name anyway, regardless of what you think. It's just as much your child as it is hers. Not the asshole. You guys are allowed to downvote me, but I think that naming your children after fictional characters is not a good idea. I know your wife liked that French animated movie, but she should consider that naming a baby is not the same as naming a pet. Mune, Guardian of the Moon. 2014 Mune, a young fawn, is chosen as the new Guardian of the Moon. From IMDb. Please don't name your child this. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is one of those 2 yeses 1 no situations. You did not have 2 yeses, but your wife proceeded as though you did, even going behind your back to do so. Maybe it's her pregnancy hormones, but she's very much in the wrong here. Your kid is going to end up being called Moon or something along those lines by his classmates. Kids are mean enough as it is. No need to give them ammo. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's your kid too. And Moon is an incredibly stupid name. When my wife and I were picking names, we agreed that a unique name was okay, as long as it would be something the kid wouldn't have to constantly spell. Moon would be constantly spelled moon. Unless you pronounce it differently, then it would be money. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She agreed to the name not being a choice, then snuck around with her mother in a weird power display to attempt to strong-arm you. Not the asshole. Your wife needs to learn to compromise and communicate like an adult. Not the asshole. I don't know how you'd pronounce it, moon or moony. Either way, as a teacher, I'd say please pick something else for your kid's sake. My knee-jerk reaction is that I hate this name too. Is it like sand dune but with an M? Naming a baby isn't a unilateral decision, she shouldn't just choose it without you. Naming a baby isn't like naming a cat. You have to really think it through carefully so they aren't stuck with something that sounds cute when they're 4 but ridiculous at 34. She's not thinking long-term emo. And if you don't like the name, you have the right to veto it. I would die hard on this hill, it's going to affect your kid forever. Not the asshole. Nata. Naming a child together should be 2 yes. What if you told your family your son would be named insert name of your choice and they gave handmade gifts with that name on? Would she appreciate that? No? Then why should you? Not the asshole, but your wife sure is. In this instance, it doesn't even matter what the actual name is. But you guys discussed it, didn't agree, and then she went behind your back, made up her mind, and then told other people her decision while completely dismissing you. That's the real issue here. It needs to be addressed now, because you just got a preview of what her parenting style will be in the future. Not the asshole. This has to be a mutual decision. Your wife does not own that child. Would you be willing to let it be a middle name? I have to agree with you, that is really the stupidest name I've ever heard, and there are some really stupid names out there. The dog comment was kind of rude, though I do think you should apologize for that. This is where compromise has to come in. What I would do if I was you is offer to let it be the middle name, or, if she wants to call the child that is a nickname, then that's on her. But you have to find a middle ground. Not the asshole. Show her your post and all the comments. Seriously, she is going to name your kid after Moon, Guardian of the Moon? It wasn't even that great of a movie. But seriously, you have more problems than the name. Like your wife trying to hide the name from you. I'm guessing she didn't think you would find out until after it was on the birth certificate and couldn't be changed. I don't know how you could trust her after going behind your back in general about something as big as your child's name. Not the asshole. You need to both agree on the name, that's how it works. The face says you vetoed that name, she may have vetoed others. Keep an eye out in the delivery room and be sure to tell the doctors and nurses in case she tries to sneak it in. Be clear what level of consequence this will have if she doesn't sit down to compromise with you on a name you can both live with. I've seen less things end a marriage. Choosing a baby's name requires 2 people to say yes. Rejecting one requires only 1 person to say no. Not the asshole, the name sucks, and your wife is being ridiculous. When I was younger, I also watched a movie and wanted to name my kids either Corbin Dallas for a boy or Lilu Dakota as a girl. Thank goodness I didn't get pregnant when I was 13. Naming your child is a 1 no, 2 yes situation. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole? For refusing to change my plans. I have put 1 day of annual leave in for next month because a video game comes out that I have been excited for years. My GF knew I had this planned. Initially I wanted to have the whole weekend to just relax and play the game, but I could not do this because it is a special occasion for me or for a dinner party, but the closest store was out of what I needed, so I had to go to the predominantly white suburbs. On my way out, I feel something tugging in my head, so I whip around. There's an older white woman, maybe mid to late 60s, withdrawing her hand. She says, "I just wanted to see how soft it is." Today was just not a particularly good day, so I did yell at her. "Is there a fucking petting zoo sign pinned to my back?" She immediately started stuttering and trying to explain herself, insisting that she didn't mean any harm. I responded by asking, "If you wouldn't pet a dog without asking first, what makes you think it's normal to stick your filthy hands in a stranger's hair?" She started crying and other people started coming over to see what the problem was, so I just left. I told the story to my husband White, M42, and my parents F57 and M67. My mom is on my side, but my dad and husband are saying that I could have been more understanding to this woman, so now I'm asking Reddit. Edited to correct my mom's age. Not the asshole at all. No one has the right to touch anyone. On a totally unrelated side note, I am stuck on your parents' age when they had you. 17 and 37? Not the asshole. This lady had no excuse. At 60, you're old enough to know that you don't touch a stranger without asking. What the hell? It's something children are taught from an early age. Not the asshole. You were right to yell at her, bet she won't try that specific trick again, and I love the petting zoo comment. That was lovely. If it isn't part of your own body, you don't freaking touch it, I mean, damn. Not the asshole. I honestly don't understand why anyone would touch someone else's hair. It is such an odd and invasive thing to do. Not the asshole. You owe nobody anything. It's like those weirdos who think that a pregnant woman should tolerate being stroked because baby. Yuck, no. Keep your hands to yourself, creep. Not the asshole. Your hair isn't public property. Touching someone's hair like that is a really weird thing to do, but if she really wants to, then she should ask first. Not the asshole. She touched you without your consent. You don't owe any politeness to someone who assaulted you, which is what unwanted physical contact is under many laws. Nata. Preschool kids learn to keep their hands to themselves, so can she. Not the asshole. White woman here with curly hair. The fucking audacity of people out here trying to touch our hair is sickening. Yeah, it's curly. Do I look like a labradoodle? No. Fuck off, you're in my bubble. I've found curly hair and women being pregnant all of a sudden become objects and we lose all autonomy. Not the asshole. Maybe she finally learned something most of us were taught in kindergarten: don't touch others without asking first. Good grief. Not the asshole. I'm white but have extremely curly hair and often deal with people wanting to touch it. This is invasive and uncomfortable, and you are not in the wrong for defending your boundaries and personal space. We're still reeling from a pandemic. It is okay to have a reaction to someone touching you without consent. Could you have been gentler with your approach? Maybe, but I still don't think this makes you TA. Not the asshole. Sometimes being strongly confronted with the social consequences of one's thoughts behavior is a catalyst for deep, needed change. I hope that this woman processes her tears in the context of what she can do differently from now on. Source: my own experiences with being corrected strongly and publicly. Not the asshole. And ignore any comments that say you should have been nicer. You don't owe this person any kindness whatsoever. I'm white with curly red hair, as is my oldest. His very first sentence: I swear don't touch my hair. Then my youngest is mixed. He didn't have as many problems because we knew how it was and were ready for it. Lol. I'm white like sour cream on mashed potatoes, but I have ridiculously long and soft hair that I've been maintaining for years. I'm also autistic and have PTSD, so I get pretty freaked out when people touch me, especially without warning. But instead of calling people out on it, I just freeze up, And whoever had the nerve to pet me leaves by the time I think to move or say anything. I wish I had the courage to do what you did. People like that deserve to be confronted and called out. Not the asshole, and keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully she'll think about it the next time she feels the urge to touch someone without permission. No one has a right to put their hand on you, whether they mean harm or not. One way to get more than some verbal, you don't know anyone's intent. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You should never touch another person without their consent for any reason. Not the asshole. Sure, you could have been kinder. But letting people get away with that kind of behavior is the reason we still see them behave that way to this day. I'm a white woman and I wouldn't dream of touching anyone's hair or pregnant stomach, or arm, etc. She was out of line. Not the asshole. The only possible excuse for that lady would be if she was mentally handicapped and literally didn't understand common courtesy. I worked with both dementia patients, although if they are that far gone they shouldn't be out by themselves, and severe mental handicaps. Both are often not able to understand why what they did is wrong, and teaching them can be difficult or impossible depending on the case. But you aren't responsible for figuring out if that lady fell into those categories, and it is far more likely she was just dumb. Not the asshole. I am a mature white woman and I know better. Now she does too. Shame on her. People need to think before they act. And if it ever crosses your mind to touch a complete stranger for your own gratification, think harder. She lost all right to expect civility when she acted that way. Not the asshole. We all learn in kindergarten to look with our eyes and not our hands. The sense of entitlement where one thinks they have every right to touch our hair is rooted in racism and not idle curiosity. Because she could have asked first, had a conversation, anything. But she didn't. She reached out and touched your hair and you didn't even have a chance to see her coming to avoid it. I just wanted to see how soft it is. It's how is that her business ever? Not the asshole. What the actual fuck? Maybe old lady didn't mean to be racist, but you just educated her with a quickness. I feel like if you're rude enough to touch a complete stranger, you can't cry if you a sharp reaction. She's lucky she didn't get hands. Damn. Not the asshole. I'm in my 60s and if I saw you at the store with such beautiful hair I wouldn't touch it. I would just possibly tell you how lovely your hair is. Why do people think they can just touch other people? Not the asshole. There is no part of a stranger someone should be touching without consent. I find it really uncomfortable that she just reaches out and touched your hair. She would likely never reach out and touch a stranger anywhere else, so why should hair be an exception? Not the asshole. I've got really long very straight hair that I often wear up in 2 pigtails to keep it off my face. I've had strangers walk up behind me and grab my hair like reins. Anyone touching my head unexpectedly makes me see fucking red. As a white woman, not the asshole. This woman was wrong and her age has nothing to do with it. Your dad and husband are wrong for telling you to be nicer to a woman who crossed your boundaries. Why did she feel it was okay to just touch your hair? Have your husband or father just had a stranger just go up and run their fingers through their beards without asking? I'm white and I'm appalled at her behavior. Not the asshole. PFFT. You should be more understanding. Not the asshole. That's outrageous. Glad you said your piece. She will think twice about touching hopefully anyone ever again. WTH did I just read. Sorry this happens still, not the asshole. Not the asshole. This woman is old enough to know to keep her hands to herself. Am I the asshole? A woman demanded info on my condition, so I asked her extremely personal questions. I was at a state fair yesterday and this woman near me came over and demanded info about my medical condition. Long story short, I'm paralyzed from roughly the bra band down. I use a power wheelchair and have a service dog. I usually don't mind educating people about paralysis, access issues and chatting about my dog, but this woman, my dudes. She was rude, abrasive and demanding. She acted like she was entitled to my personal medical history. She didn't even ask politely, just demanded to know how it happened, what the results were, if I tried X, Y, Z treatments, you name it. She even wanted to know about my sex life. Just. Seriously? Who asks this stuff of a literal stranger unfortunate enough to be eating delicious fair food at the table area? I just stared at her in shock as my delicious deep-fried barbecue got cold. So I smiled as politely as I could manage, and this is where I may have been the asshole. I started to ask her about her last gyne visit. Were the stirrups too high? Did she have to do that awkward shimmy scoot down the table? If the speculum was cold? If the pap smear hurt? The usual. If she felt entitled to my answers, I should be entitled to her answers, right? Well, she threw an absolute fucking fit. Started screaming and yelling that I was gross and a pervert and on and on and on. Her group tried to calm her down, and one of them told me I should have just been polite and answered her questions. As far as I could tell, this woman wasn't impaired in any way. She didn't have a carer or minder. She was with a group of friends and had been carrying in normally with them until she saw me. I got to the table, asked if the space was free and set up at the end of the table because my chair fits neatly on the end of one-piece picnic benches. I told the group that if she wanted my personal and private medical information, then she should trade info for info. Two of the people called me an asshole when they left, trying to calm down their nearly hysterical friend as they left. She was still screaming and shouting how I was a perv, cruel, mean. People were staring at me and I hated it. At the time I felt good for finally finding a shiny, new but still broken spine and standing up for myself, so to speak. I was talking to friends last night and they said I was an asshole. I could have politely told her I wasn't going to tell her. I tried that when she came over and demanded answers, not even asked for them. So Reddit, I'm asking here. Am I the asshole for not divulging my medical info and asking her about hers? Not the asshole. I greatly admire your shiny conversational spine. Lots of folks with wheelchairs, service dogs, mobility aids of other types, and carers come through my workplace. Yet somehow we all manage to resist asking ridiculously invasive questions. Yeah, the toddlers visiting might, but getting shut down and having proper behavior explained to them by their parents is part of their social learning curve. Lamau, not the asshole, not even close, and I truly don't understand how your friends could have thought you were. Your response was perfectly reasonable and also demonstrated the absurdity of her initial behavior. Sure, it's nice to be polite. But politeness isn't owed to someone who disregards it themselves. That lady was rude and obnoxious and deserved to have her own shit thrown back in her face. Even funnier that she threw a fit for it. I guess she's not used to people not tolerating her awful personality. Not the asshole. She was still screaming and shouting how I was a perv, cruel, mean. People were staring at me and I hated it. Chances are people were staring because a basket case was screaming at someone in a freaking wheelchair. Not the asshole. I hope you never have to deal with another person like that again. But if you do, I'd very loudly repeat her questions. I am sorry, but did you just ask me about my sex life? Who do you think you are asking such a personal question? Not the asshole. You are my hero. I love your response. In all seriousness, you owe no one any information about your life. If someone wants to know about you or your life, they can ask respectfully. If they can't, well, they deserve what they get. And, let's face it, assholes call others assholes when they care called out on their own behavior. It's the pot calling the kettle black. Not the asshole. I would have asked her friend. Are you her caregiver? Please explain to her that her questions are so invasive. Not the asshole. I applaud your kindness in taking the time out of your day to provide this interloper a teachable moment. True charity. And absolutely not sarcastic. Not the asshole that was an awesome response, you rock that shiny spine. I hate how some people think as being disabled means we must be passive and grateful for them even taking the time to take an interest in us, oddly usually the same type of people who complain about a disabled chronically ill person in their friends group always talking about their condition. Not the asshole. Honestly, I think what you did was completely fair and her reaction tells you everything you need to know. I understand if it was a kid or young person who was genuinely curious, but a grown-ass woman? Clown world we live in, lol. I traumatized them back, would like to meet you. Not the asshole. Good for you. Take care of your new shiny spine, and flaunt it. Don't forget to polish it daily, wouldn't want the sparkle to be covered in road dust. Not the asshole. We are not there for people's education, entertain or inspiration. Unless we are teachers, entertainers or motivational speakers or whatnot, obviously. Who the hell launches into this line of questioning when they do not need to know this? Not the asshole, and you're hilarious. Love your shiny new spine. Not the asshole. Fuck her. She ran to and demanded to know how you fucked. She can go fuck herself. Not the asshole, and people who say otherwise have never been in your shoes. Also, with these obtuse people, telling them I'm not comfortable talking about that does absolutely nothing. They continue treating you like a science specimen or a child. You were not the asshole. You are a hero. As a fellow disabled person, you are a fucking hero. I want to give you all the flowers. I want to give you a cape. I want to give you a shield and a coat of arms. Service puppy gets a cape too. You are the most awesome I have seen. That was a perfect response. Not the asshole, but your friends are. I guess they aren't the type to walk next to you with a baseball bat. I'm sorry for that. Not the asshole. Why your friends told you were I don't understand. I wouldn't be so nice to her as you were, so, woman shrugging. But maybe my compass for appropriate situation to share my personal and medical info is broken, winking face. Not the asshole. Your response was perfect, chef's kiss. Not the asshole. If you had politely declined to answer, she would have kept harping on it. This was the only way to shut her down. She clearly has some kind of issue, maybe not diagnosed, but oh boy, she's got issues. I'm proud of you for sticking up for yourself. It's so petty, I love it. Not the asshole. Shiny spine was spot on. She deserved every bit of it and more. Not the asshole. Absolutely brilliant response. Your private life should be just that, private. Could you have tried to politely tell her? Yes. Could she have politely asked if you would be comfortable answering some questions and try to at least have some grace about it? Also yes. If you walk up and start being rude to someone, don't expect them to be polite to you in return. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I think you handled that brilliantly. I would have been too shocked to even answer that nosy BTH when she started demanding such personal information. Not the asshole with sprinkles. This for real made me LOL. Good for you. I can't imagine having the kind of balls where I just start demanding info from a stranger. So not the asshole. Not the asshole. Some people are so frustratingly blind to their own behavior, the only way to get them to shut up is to treat them exactly how they treat others. Don't feel bad at all. She was a creepy weirdo for asking you personal questions to begin with. If her reaction is to call you a perv, or whatever, that's just her holding a mirror up to her own behavior. Not the asshole. I think you handled it perfectly. No one has a right to your personal medical history outside of a medical setting. Am I the asshole? For telling my family that they never cared about my birthday before. Why should it matter now? My parents divorced when I was about 6, it was 50-50 custody split with my mom wasting no time to get remarried to my stepdad. My stepdad had children already, Alex, Violet, and Mabel. I was relentlessly bullied by them for various things I couldn't control: having a speech impediment, having less expensive clothes, only being to see my dad on weekends, etc. My mom and stepdad didn't do anything to stop it and essentially told me kids will be kids, then kept it pushing. My mom would lightly scold Violet and Mabel if they hurt me while playing but wouldn't do anything more. I had to watch as they got far more expensive gifts for birthdays and Christmas and actually what they wanted from their wish list, whilst I got the bare minimum of necessities and would only get something I actually wanted from my dad, but he could only go far due to making 2x less than what my stepdad makes. I appreciated it nonetheless. I didn't even get to properly enjoy my cake, or rather cupcakes that my mom made to cut down on cost, because my siblings ate it before I could get seconds. I was never allowed a party because my friends were too messy and loud. Around age 10, I pretty much stopped expecting them to put effort into my birthday and just kinda let it pass by whenever I was with them. Yesterday was my 18th birthday and I decided to spend it with my friends, boyfriend, and dad. I was out all day and came back at around nearly 10 p.m. My mom was waiting for me with my stepdad and pretty much blew up on me for not spending the day with them. Apparently they prepared a small celebration for me that got wasted because I wasn't there. They were both going off on me for being inconsiderate and ungrateful. In the middle of their little rant I had snapped that they never fucking cared about my birthday all these years, why should this one matter now? They were in shock and that gave me an opportunity to go to my room and sleep. I woke up to texts from my grandparents and aunt saying that I was disrespectful for saying that and ungrateful for anything my mom and stepdad did for me. Edit: just to be clear, I put my step-siblings' current ages within the post, not the ages when they were bullying me. It made sense to me when I made this post, but I understand how it could be confusing. Not the asshole and dollars to donuts, they didn't plan shit. Some relative probably saw on social media and asked why they weren't there. They made up their party to cover their neglectful asses. Not the asshole. They never celebrated your B-Day in a proper way. They created a bad experience, so it's totally understandable. It's your B-Day, so you are free to do whatever you want. How are you even supposed to know that they were organizing something, even if it is a surprise party? They could have given some hints or asked you to be there. Not the asshole. You stood up for yourself. I would ask the grandparents and aunts where they were when you were getting bullied and treated like crap. You don't have to deal with people that abused you or people that enabled that abuse. Be prepared as you put space between yourself and your abusers. They will suddenly care and be confused why you have to hold grudges, but you should continue to put your mental health first, and if that means going no or low contact with those people, know that it's okay to put yourself first. Not the asshole. I'd go farther and explain to them the full litany of wrongs and neglect they inflicted on you. They should not be surprised when you move out and go no contact. Not the asshole. Actions have consequences. When you can move out. I woke up to texts from my grandparents and aunt saying that I was disrespectful for saying that and ungrateful for anything my mom and stepdad did for me. They know shit. Not the asshole. These stories always break my heart. Parents divorce, and their child gets left behind for their new family. I'm sorry you weren't able to move in with your dad full time. You need to calmly talk to your mom about everything you've posted here. Write things down beforehand. Will that solve anything? Maybe not, but you might feel a lot better about things and be able to move on with your life. Wishing you the best op, and happy birthday. Not the asshole. How are you supposed to show up to a celebration no one told you about? It sounds like they didn't even make a plan to have you around that day. Why on earth would they assume you just sit around and do nothing? Two grown-ass adults ran to mommy and complained about disrespect. What a joke. Not the asshole. They hadn't bothered so far, so it makes perfect sense for you to choose to spend your day with people who care about you. Your mum and SD act like your B-Day was about them. Not the asshole. Tell your grandparents that you are not psychic and you are not obliged to hand these people your heart time after time when they have a proven history of dropping it on the floor. I also note that the AITA, meaning the people at the house, didn't bother calling you. They just sat there, storing up drama, while you celebrated your birthday with people who actually consider you a member of their family. Grandparents and aunt, I grew up ignored, bullied, and ganged up by my stepfather's children. He further made it clear that, while for his children, birthdays were special occasions, mine was just a hassle, to be dealt with as cheaply and as quickly as possible. These are facts. I lived them. And I wasn't even informed that they planned anything for my birthday, as they typically do nothing. So I chose to spend my birthday with the people who love me, and don't make me feel unwelcome. I stand by my decision. Not the asshole. There's a history of shafting you on your birthday. You decided to so endive with people who actually care to celebrate you. Not the asshole. They are jerks for planning a small celebration without ever checking if you would be around to enjoy it. They never allowed you to have a party before now, so why would they expect you to show up for one now when you did not even know about it? I hope you enjoyed your birthday with the people you chose to spend it with. Not the asshole. Yes, I was disrespectful, but they earned that disrespect. It's a two-way street. Not the asshole. It mattered now because they intended to use it to sweeten the news that they are kicking you out. Get your documents and plans ready because tomorrow they will be moving on with the plan. So were they going to invite you to this little party, or did they just expect you to have no plans, like all your other birthdays? We can't choose our blood, but we can choose our family. You've created a new family out of the people who choose to love you and spend time with you. Your mother and her husband are not a part of that, due to their own choices in life. You're 18 now. Can you go live with your dad? Not the asshole. And your grandparents kept their mouths shut all the years you were being mistreated. Nice of them to chime in now. Happy birthday, and may every year after this be twice as good as the last. Party face. I woke up to texts from my grandparents and aunt saying that I was disrespectful for saying that and ungrateful for anything my mom and stepdad did for me. Not the asshole. Text them back, ask them point blank, where were you when I was being bullied, when I was being ignored on my birthdays and holidays, where were you when my childhood was being stolen? Until you can answer why you didn't step in, and tell my mom and stepdad off for their abuse, I will ask you to keep your opinions on this matter to yourself. Not the asshole. Funny how the one birthday they care about is the one where you are now an adult and able to cut off contact with them. Oh, and happy birthday op. I'm glad you could spend it with people who care, heart. Yeah, not the asshole. Explain that they did the bare minimum and out of respect for them you didn't expect anything for your birthday. Same as always. Your mom sucks and not up to you to make her a better parent. Happy birthday, and I'm glad you got to spend it with people who truly cared about you. You should let your relatives know that too. Not the asshole. It sounds like they were trying to or assuming your birthday was about them. If they cared and wanted to do something, they should have talked to you ahead of time. You are 18. If you have any joint accounts with your mom, close them out and make new accounts at a totally different bank, not just a different branch, a different bank. Not the asshole. I am so sorry you had to grow up that way. Shame on your mother for allowing you to be abused. Ah yes, am I the asshole? Classic. I was treated poorly by people and got mad at them for treating me poorly, and now they're mad I called them out. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You had fun on your birthday and didn't attend something you weren't told was happening. You then were yelled at for not attending something you didn't know was happening, and responded in kind. Read that and tell me you think you're in the wrong. Am I the asshole? For giving my granddaughter a car while not doing the same for my grandson? My son Kyle has 2 kids. Jay and Leah. They have different moms. Kyle is the every other weekend parent to Leah while he is very involved in Jay's life. For Jay's 16th birthday I gave him a phone, which I believe was a nice and generous gift. A few days ago was Leah's birthday. My other son Caleb adores Leah. He pretty much has a father-daughter relationship with her since Kyle is pretty much a deadbeat to her. Caleb informed me that he is planning to buy a second-hand car for her birthday and asked if I can contribute to the car as her birthday gift. I gave him $4,000 to help him buy the car, and Leah was overjoyed when she saw it. Now Kyle thinks I was an asshole for giving a more expensive gift to Leah, while I think my gift to Jay was very generous and I didn't do anything wrong. Edit: I know this is too soon for an update, but I've already decided what to do, so I wanted to let you know. I sent the post to Caleb, and a few minutes later his wife sent me the $4,000 that I gave him. They told me to buy a phone for Leah so that I'm not treating them any differently. So basically Leah will be getting a phone from me and a car from Caleb and his wife. I know this is not fair to Jay, but I can't control how they spend their money, so it is what it is, and I guess Leah will be much happier with this outcome. Info: Jay's his wife's, Leah is his affair partner's, and his wife won't allow him to see her more than that. Why did you not add this particularly salient point to your post? After reading your comments, I've got to say, not the asshole, and I did read your update. I think you should do what feels right to you and help Leah, who isn't getting as much. It sounds like Kyle is upset because you're not favoring his legitimate son tbh. Info: what did Kyle get Leah for her birthday? You're the asshole. Regardless of what was purchased, car, etc., you gave $4,000 as a gift, and just a phone to Jay. Keep the gifts consistent across your grandkids. Not the asshole. You're a loving, giving and generous grandma, therefore you are inherently not an asshole. There's no rule that says gifts should be equitable. Some need help more than others. You saw that, acted. No shame in any of this. So here you have a man with 2 kids. One he plays dad to daily, and one he has every weekend and doesn't do jack shit with. And he's on your case because you're picking up the slack where he's lacking? OMG people. Dad of the year over here. You did nothing wrong. I hope Leah is happy with her 2 amazing gifts. And never ever lets her brother drive it. Ever. If Jay is smart, Jay learned a very valuable lesson on where he stands and should act accordingly. The edit is the best outcome. You're the asshole because favoritism can poison the relationship. And I would say it is favoritism, since $4,000 is a lot of money, while a phone in comparison is much cheaper. However, Kyle is not entitled to get a car now. But for me, it is logical that he complains. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Tell Kyle you're trying to make up for the shitty deal Leah has, being the affair baby with him as the deadbeat dad who won't stand up for his daughter. Once Kyle treats her like he does Jay, you'll stop trying to make up for him. Not the asshole. Deadbeat to one means that one needs way more support. Not the asshole. They are gifts, not debts. You don't owe them anything to start with, and they are acting like it's some kind of social service where everyone needs to be considered equitably. They should be grateful to get anything at all, considering it's free. They are not owed it. It is your money, do what you want with it. Wow, way to make it obvious which grandchild you love more. Yes, you're the asshole. Not the asshole. Typically I'd say treat all grandkids and kids equally. But admittedly, with your son being a deadbeat for one child, it's already unfair and unequal for them. Therefore I think it's pretty fair overall. Also, it's your money, so terrace that. I saw the edit, totally understandable. You're the asshole. You have a favorite. Just fess it up and know that your favoritism will strain all relationships involved. There is no way you can justify a car to one grandkid and a phone for the other, except you are a huge you're the asshole. You are basically doing what you criticize your son for, favoring one over the other. Anyway, this is how you end up alienating your grandkids. I'd assume this isn't the first time you've done something like this because of how normal you think it is. I wouldn't be surprised if you end up with no relationship with your grandson. AITA. Soft, you're the asshole, but you knew that. Caleb and his wife are just the best, so adorable. Leah is very lucky to have them and you in her life. You being grandparent should treat the grandchildren equally. It's not Jay's fault his dad is a deadbeat to Leah. You can either be open and honest about your seemingly unjustified favoritism and let the grandson deal with it, or you can try to be a fairer grandparent. It's up to you. Right now you're playing the innocent, so you're the asshole. Not the asshole, your money, your choice. Given your update though, looks like Lee is now getting both a car and a phone. I'm sure this helps her more than anyone will ever know. A child who knows they are the least favored child will have psychological issues for life. You are an angel to Lee and don't forget it. After reading the updates and comments, I'm going not the asshole. Your son sucks and you should have taught him better. Not the asshole. First, it wasn't a gift totally from you, it was a joint gift. Second, you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you spend your money. You got your grandson a phone, which can get pricey. It was a perfectly acceptable gift and your son is just entitled. It sounds like your son has a favorite child and it's not Leah. Honestly, I feel bad for both kids in this situation. Jay, who gets a present dad but a paternal family that focuses on Leah. Leah, who gets a present paternal family but no dad. Sucks. It can't be fixed because Kyle, and to a lesser extent his wife, can't get their head out of their ass. What did your son get each child for their 16th birthday? Was his gift giving equal? So do you not have a good relationship with Jay? Does Caleb and Jay not have a good relationship? It sounds like you and Caleb are taking out on Jay what you see as Kyle's failings as a father. You don't seem to be concerned how this will affect your relationship with Jay. Lol, now she gets a phone and a car. Question: if her dad is a deadbeat, is she better off spending less time with him and more with her mum? You're the asshole. Sure, a phone is an amazing gift. But compared to a car? You clearly showed which one was your favorite. Natar. You should be able to talk to Kyle and explain that you are giving more to Leah because she doesn't have a present father. And this is the only way you feel you can make up for your son not handling his responsibilities. Big, you're the asshole. 4K is definitely way more than what a phone costs. That's playing favorites. Even if Leah deserves the car given Kyle favoritism, you and Caleb are doing the same thing by favoring Leah over Jay. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess. You're the asshole. Unless that phone cost $4,000, you spent far more on Leah than you did on Jay. That's blatantly unfair. May, after reading a few comments, I'm going with the SH except the kids. All you're doing is pinning them against each other even more. Wife should have just left him instead of playing games. And son should not have cheated on his wife. Did a fair partner know? Obvious, you're the asshole. Am I the A for showing obvious favoritism? Not the asshole. Kyle created the different dynamic through his own behavior and you and Caleb are having to pick up the slack on his bad parenting. He doesn't get to call you an A for treating his two kids differently when he does the same thing in the opposite direction. Your family sounds like a bunch of assholes even more with this update. Poor Jay. Not the asshole. You're the asshole. $4,000 to one kid, a phone to another. The disparity clearly says I love Leah more. You're the asshole. You're showing your grandson Jay who your favorite is and he won't forget it. You were trying to be generous and make up for the fact that your son Kyle doesn't treat his daughter the same as his son, but instead you're creating a divide between you and Jay, and possibly a divide between Jay and Leah, as Jay might be angry at Leah for getting a much larger gift. Unless the phone cost $4K, then yeah, you're the asshole.